Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. As you saw in the title, I got my new computer. Long story short, we started a GoFundMe. I didn't really expect to get any money from it. And as you can see here, and you're gonna see me unbox this in a minute, we had over, I think, 40, for lack of a better word, patrons, supporters on the GoFundMe campaign that believed in the videos that I made enough to monetarily support the channel and in turn my own creative vision. And that means so much to me, guys. I can't express that enough, that you guys actually cared about my videos enough, and I've had that big of an impact on you guys to fund a computer like this for me. My whole life is creating, and it's to share knowledge with people, and I haven't been making videos lately. As you can see on my channel, there hasn't been very many since like summer or like spring of last year. That's largely due to the computer problems and just busy. This new computer that we got is a Mac Mini. The full specs I'll put in the description below. Essentially, it's an i7 8700B, which is a watered down 8700, only slightly though. It's pretty comparable to its desktop, or well, PC desktop counterpart, I should say. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, which is going to be user serviceable. The reason I did that is because it's the only serviceable part, and that means I can upgrade it later. I traded upgrading the RAM for an upgraded solid state drive because you can't upgrade the solid state later, so I put that like 200 additional that they charge on the site, which is ridiculous, to upgrade my solid state drive to a 512 NAND flash solid state storage system instead of going for 16 gigs of RAM or 32 gigs of RAM. Maybe down the line a bit, I'll do a video on upgrading the RAM on one of these guys. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys for supporting the videos enough to, you know, monetarily support this computer. And I think it's going to be a big asset in creating so much more content for you guys. At the end of this video, I think I'm going to create a wallpaper. Little known fact, I used to do a lot of graphic design, and that was a lot of how I made my money throughout high school and slightly after. So I have a pretty decent background in graphic design, and I actually design all my own cover arts and stuff. So I'm actually going to make a really cool wallpaper out of all the names of the patrons that supported this computer, and I'll put it up for free download, and it's actually going to remain the wallpaper on this computer for as long as I can tell. To everyone on the channel, actually, I'm going to do a free fixture project live stream / feedback stream in a few weeks. I'm going on tour for the rest of March, but when I get back in April, I will do a feedback stream, an extended, extra long one, so that we can get some feedback for you guys. Free of charge, no patron gate of entry for this one. So thanks, guys, and I'm going to get this guy set up so we can get things going. So I can't say thank you enough, guys. That really means a lot to me. One other thing I want to mention is a comment that I got very popularly on all of my Mac replacement related videos, and that was, why don't you build a Hackintosh to replace your Mac Pro instead of an official Mac? And it was actually something that was going through my head, and up until like the very last second, I was debating between an ITX or mini ITX Hackintosh and a Mac Mini. I've had a Mac Pro that I've been updating. It was actually a gift from my film teacher, and it was like my first like professional level Mac. I've always been more of like a PC building kind of guy. Throughout high school, I was really into like building computers, and I actually interned for the county for all 4 years of my high school career for information tech. So we used to build network infrastructure and add things to the domain, remove things from the domain, and then general tech stuff, replace CPUs and RAM and power supplies and machines, troubleshooting, cloning, ghost imaging, backups and stuff, etc. So I've always been more of a PC guy until I think it was whatever year it was in high school. My film teacher kind of convinced me into using Mac for making videos, and ever since then I've always been more of a Mac guy for content creation. The reason the Mac Mini ultimately won out, and I want to like lay this to rest before like I get a stream of comments in the comment section saying you should have bought a Hackintosh, you should have switched to Windows. First of all, I need macOS for work. Like I said in the first video, I need audio unit support and I need logic support for work day to day. I also need the MIDI routing system for some stuff I do in my live shows, and there's other stuff I use it for too, like ScreenFlow, for example. A lot of the companies I do courses for require ScreenFlow. So I do need macOS, and I actually do use Windows every day. I have a Razer Blade Stealth from like 2016. It's like a dual core i5 or something like that. It's not powerful enough to do work on, otherwise I'd be using that. But I use it every day as like emails and stuff like that. I do, and I'm very familiar with Windows, and I love Windows 10. I have no bias against Windows 10. It's only because I need an Apple machine for work. The reason I didn't go with a Hackintosh is just because of the stability and the inconsistency of Hackintosh. I used to do it on my aforementioned PC build several years ago. It was more of a hobbyist thing than anything back then. I ran into so many issues with texts getting out of date with new operating system updates. The requirement of updates for Apple products or Apple branded software like Logic Pro and Final Cut. Like if you get the newest Final Cut or the newest Logic, which I don't really use day to day, but I do use from time to time, you have to update your operating system too. So that's always constantly breaking texts, which are essentially, if you don't know, kernel extensions for macOS for Hackintosh builds. There was a lot of people that suggested in my last video to downgrade to High Sierra, and while that would have fixed the problem temporarily until I could get a new machine, it wouldn't be a long-term solution. But believe me, my inner PC master race was screaming at me for buying this Mac Mini, but I think in the long run it was the right decision, especially if I take it on tour or travel with me. It's really, really good form factor for that. And to build a adequate Mini ITX build like this would cost so much in just the case alone, and I want it to be very portable so I can fit it in like a carry-on bag. So that's the reason I went with a Mac Mini instead of a Hackintosh, guys. I know all the PC fans and the Hackintosh fans in the comment section are going to be pissed, but you have to forgive me. I had to go with the Mac Mini just because of the stability of the Mac Mini and macOS. So thanks, guys. Let's get this thing set up and get going. Okay, so let's do it and get it open. Here it is, guys, the Mac Mini. Okay, so there's this like little slab here that you remove for the ports on the back. I'm going to show it. Oof, there it is. I didn't go for the keyboard and mouse because it's like $200 and I don't really need it. I have these guys. So yeah, that's that, and I'm going to put this all back together and we're going to get this thing set up.